Okay, we are live. Let me do a clap here. So in case I need to sync up audio later on. But anyway, what I will be doing here is going through the greatest treasure, the world's first geocaching comic book that I worked on with Joshua Johnson, this fine fellow right here. Joshua Johnson came up with an idea for this comic book back in 2020. Actually had it, before then, but contacted me about it in 2020 around June, and it wasn't until maybe about like September to where I started sitting down and laying out the pages and doing all of the artwork and getting this whole thing put together. But as I was working on this comic, it got to be a point where when I was in it by a few pages where I started thinking that, I got to add some jokes in here, got to add some dad jokes, I got to hide some things in the pages there to make it interesting for people to look for, because this is the world's first geocaching comic book. And what do geocachers like to do? They like to look for things. So I started putting things on and hiding things in pages in the background. There's lots of inside jokes and things in there. Just a second here. Check audio. Testing, 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 testing. Okay, cool. All right, so yeah, I went through and put a lot of stuff in here, a lot of hidden things. And there is a page in the back here where it says, "Can you find it?" Let's see, just a second. Can you? Where it's, the "Can you find it" page here, and they're gonna turn the audio off. Where I put down and hid a lot of extra things in the book. A lot of things were hidden in here, and you could spend some time looking for these 22 things in there, but there's more hidden stuff. And also, as I said, there's a lot of jokes in there that I put in. I put a lot of stuff into this book here. So we're going to go ahead and start off. As you can see, you got the page layouts right here. Right here is where the page layouts are. But on the cover of the book, actually, I do want to say that for the hidden items that I put in here, there's like 22 things on them. If I come across them as I'm explaining these pages and the layouts and stuff to them, cool. But I'd still like for you to look for them if you're if you have the book or if you're going to get it. And if you don't have the book, you can go ahead and go to www.geocachingcomic.com. Again, www.geocachingcomic.com. I'll put that in here. And you can get a copy. It's right on Amazon. You can get a copy of this here, The Greatest Treasure, on Amazon. So there was those 22 things here that said the hidden things, and also there's like 10 or 11 geocaching trackable numbers that you can look for and find in here. And then you can go ahead and go onto the geocaching website and log them that you found them. Now, if I come across a page, if there's an obvious one, I'll be like, yeah, it's like right here. And you can go ahead and log it as a find. But I do want to let you know that one of those is somewhere here on the cover. So there you go. You can look for it there on the cover to get your geocaching trackable number that you can log. So there we go. And on the back, nothing really hidden on the back. It's just a description of what's going on in the book. It's got a picture of Joshua there and the animal friends that he encounters. And there we go, the animal friends that he encounters right here as well. So I did go through and I had to write out all the things that I had on the pages there. Now, some pages have lots of hidden stuff on them. There's some pages that have nothing. So there's that. So let's go ahead and start here. This is page 1, of course, and just starts off with a good description of what geocaching is about. Um, Photo I took there and did some rendering there with it uh, in Photoshop, I think it was, and used that as a background. And this here is an early. It's a my first or one of the first drawings of Joshua that I did when he presented this idea for me to be an artist for the comic. Um, so it was one of the preliminary early sketches there for him, and he looks a lot different as the book progresses. So this was also a sticker that was available for him through his Patreon page. So if you were a Patreon and you donated, money there each month there for him, you would get a sticker. Now there's maybe a trackable on this page here somewhere. So maybe if you have good keen eyesight, you might see it there. So trackable right there. And then here we go, page 2 starts off with Joshua. He's out looking for a geocache, and then he gets the notification that he can find the greatest treasure if he starts following these clues. And he's all, yeah. Now this here, I'm going on an adventure like the Goonies. That was something from Mystery Science Theater that they said in one of their episodes, like, "Yay, we're going on an adventure just like the Goonies." So that's the joke right there. And also, an ammo can in the woods. Everybody likes to find ammo cans in the woods when they go geocaching. So there's that. Um, and let's see. Then page 3, he's got his clues there. He's planning out his adventure to go to New York, the first location. There's a checklist of stuff, and then the things here in the checklist are here in this big panel right here. So there's all these things here, like the GPS, a camera, laptop, cell phone, trackables, all that stuff are in here. But there's a lot of extra things hidden in here. If you look up here, there's this picture right there. I believe that was a thumbnail picture for one of his videos, for one of Joshua's videos that the kid and I starred in. We showed up in one of his geocaching episodes when he was out at the Geo Woodstock in 2018, and I believe that was the thumbnail layout for it. You have a little illustration here, and I forget what this was, an amulet from a video game or something like that. And then here you've got Funko Pops of myself and the kid. You have Cash Pants Volume 1. Cash Pants is a phrase that he came up with in one of his episodes, one of his geocaching episodes a while, years ago. And then there's a book here of Komikino and the kid, and Canada Caching, caching in Canada. So there's that. Here's another thumbnail layout here, and I think that was also another one of the thumbnails for an episode that he and I showed up in or something like that. If not, it's a thumbnail from one of his videos. Rolled Atlas, you got a book on caching. Hey, there's a Funko of Joshua right there. Maybe that's one of the hidden items that you're supposed to find there. And you've got trackables. There's a key right there. You got some shoes and some hiking sticks there. And this here is the flux capacitor, or Mr. Fusion, I'm sorry, from Back to the Future. So that's Mr. Fusion, and it's Fragile Italian. That's a Christmas Story parody. You have a treasure chest there. You've got the skateboard from Back to the Future. Joshua is a big fan of Back to the Future. You have Marty's jacket from Back to the Future here. And then jacket here, leather jacket, could be any old jacket, could be the jacket that the Terminator wore. I don't know. Um, and what else? You have hidden stuff in here. This is actually a travel bag that I have, where I keep my brush and toothbrush and everything else in it. So that is based off of my little travel bag. But then there it is again. Other things that might be the list up here. Did I say toothbrush? No. Sunblock. There you go. Maybe that's it. You got some socks. You have a pen. You have Geocaching Vlogger logo on the back of the laptop. This mouse pad right there is the mouse pad that I have right here. So he's got an official Geocaching with Komakino and the Kid mouse pad. Then you have other items here, trackables and things. You have Cache Pants. You have a Cache Pants shirt. And let's see. Yeah, the monitor there. So, and hey, what is this right here? That is the flux capacitor from Back to the Future. Let's see. What is this? I got a message here. Oh, good God. What is this crap? Let's see. Promotion for your channel, viewers, followers, and chatbots. No, I don't want to pin it. I just want to go ahead and trash that thing, but I don't have time to worry about that right now. I do apologize for the spammer. Is there anything I can do to... Anyway, I'm sorry. I was hoping I could maybe get rid of that thing, but I guess I can't. So, those are the things here on page 3. Okay. And then off to page 4. Nothing really here. Josh gets to New York. He's out there in the main park there in New York, and he's talking about the 32 caches that are set up for the multi-cache out there that takes all day to do. Jeez. So he's there at Central Park, and he's thinking about that big multi-cache. Now, the neat thing about this comic book is that different cache types are explained, and the different cache types that are explained are actual real geocaches out there. So you could read this book and then go out and find these things and solve them, kind of like how they're done in the book. Or the book is guiding you through the different types of caching or caches that are out there. As I said, they're all real caches and all real locations. So there's that, page 4, and then off to page 5. And as Josh was looking around, he meets the first of his animal friend companions that he teams up with as he's doing this geocaching adventure. This is Addison. Addison is based off of a real actual person that he knows of. I do believe Addison is the person who set up the 32-stage multi-cache out in Central Park there in New York. Now, Joshua was here talking with this rabbit. Now, when I was working on this book, I thought that the animals, like I thought this was a world like The Muppet Show or Cool World, where there's humans and then you have your animals. You would have your interaction between these humans and animals. But as the book progressed, Josh was like, well, I'll have to explain it when I get up to the pages there. But then it kind of turned out where he was like, no, I want it just to be me as the human and everybody else in this world is animals. Whoops. Wasn't brought up to me until like almost done with the book, and then it's like, oh, but I drew people. But anyway, so they're talking here. Nothing really going on. And I think it was about kind of like this time where it's like, okay, I need to start maybe adding in some jokes or something. So when Joshua would send me a page layout, I would have to get his drawing and his script and then flesh it out, put in the comic page layouts, make the dialogue flow, and then I would want to start adding in some jokes there for it, just to make it uh, just so people would have something to laugh at. Kind of add some humor to it. So there we go, page 5. Now this here is a double page spread. Pages 6 and 7. Um, Now these locations here, where the now these are the this is the multi-cache icon, and these locations are the actual kind of like locations where you would find these spots in Central Park to complete this multi-cache. Now this page is laid out. I wanted to have it kind of set like those illustrations that you see for like um, a city or a town where they have like the cartoon buildings and then like the big head people, and you have they would sell uh, like they would the artist of that would ask like the local businesses like, hey, if you want to have your business on here, pay me X amount and I'll draw your business here. Then you would have those the buildings and facilities drawn in into their cartoony comic depiction of downtown Woodinville, for example, or places like that. So that was the idea I had for this. This was one of the last pages I drew because I knew it was just going to be so tough and insane to do. In fact, I propositioned a friend of mine, $100 a page to do pencil layouts so then I could just ink over them and then do the rest of the stuff. But he didn't want to do it. I was thinking of having my daughter, the kid, do this, but she was she didn't want to have anything to do with it there. So it was like no. Let me see. Ban this guy. Yes. Awesome. Thanks. Alrighty, I just figured out how to do that. Okay. And let me see. Okay, so I got rid of that thing there. Yay. Um, so I just had to save these 2 pages up until the end, and then I just kind of sat down and laid it out. I had like a map of Central Park, put in like the locations, like interesting uh, monuments and things that you could actually see there. There's like the museum and all these things, the obelisk and all these bridges, of course, because the 32 stage um, multi-cache deals with these bridges and landmarks around here. And you've got the zoo there, of course. Um, let's see here. And got a building here. Maybe that might be a hidden item for you to check out. And as Joshua is, saying here, he's saying, "Gotta find them all." It's kind of my parody to Pokemon. So that's why the rabbit here is saying, "Wait, what game are we playing?" Or I'm sorry, he's saying, "Wait, are we playing the same game?" Because he's gotta find them all, Pokemon. But he's referring to all the 32 caches out there. And see, there's a human right there. But that was drawn at the end, and of course you have animals at the zoo. But again, if you were to like look at this map, and a map of Central Park, these are actual locations out there, and the cache locations of all 32 of those geocaches there. Let's see here. Off to page 8. And they come across this geocache that's hidden out there, and they're talking about it there, and there's a description that geocaches can be camouflaged as rocks, and then there's another clue. And then here's the cover for the comic, which is a trackable. So there is a trackable like this that you could have received if you were a patron to help kickstart the book. Um, and then proceed to this location. The journey continues in Germany. Now, the journey continues. To me, it was that is a reference to Pokemon episodes. Like at the end of the TV episodes, you would have the narrator speak. Geez, what are they doing next door? But you would have the narrator speak, and I remember there were some episodes where he would say, "And the journey continues." As Ash Ketchum and his friends and Pikachu and I would go to, the episode would end. The journey continues. So that is my other Pokemon reference there. And then you have description of what collectibles are. So there's that. And let's see. Then off to page 9. Okay, so Joshua makes it out to Germany now. He's got a clue to go to Germany to find the next step to his adventure here. And he's going off to Hanover, Germany. And look, there's a person right there. Because again, I thought it was people and animals. And Joshua's looking out the window. I don't know, that kind of cracks me up right there. And this here is talking about the deepest cache on Earth, which is located out there in the Atlantic Ocean. So I think it's yet to be found. Nobody's found it yet. Anyway, here he gets to Hanover, Germany, and this is forgive me, I'm going to probably pronounce it wrong. It's the Neues Rathaus, or Rathaus. I'm saying it wrong, and I do apologize to everybody in Germany that's watching this, but yeah, I'm butchering the name of that there. Neues Rathaus. Anyway, so, and he's standing there. He's looking at this building here. It's a town hall. It's the new town hall. And in the back of the book, I do have a thing where I had showed you earlier, the "Can you find it" section. There's one of the things is to find my car. I have a Nissan Juke. I drive a Nissan Juke and I like it. And hey, what's that? Looks like a Nissan Juke. So there you go. You found my car, one of the hidden items in the back of the book there. And then Josh comes across a gadget cache here. So you have to do different things to try and manipulate the cache to open it to get the logbook out. So gadget caches are lots of fun, but they could be also pretty difficult. So he sees this gadget cache there. He's trying to figure out what to do, and then this scroll pops up. The squirrel's name is Daniel, based off of Daniel Flieger, an actual geocacher out in Germany, a good friend of Joshua's. I had a chance to meet Daniel at the big block party here last summer in 2022. Real awesome guy. He likes squirrels, and Joshua and him had this squirrel joke thing going on for a while, and that kind of carried over to this because, as you can see, Daniel is a squirrel. Let me see what's going on here. I'm sorry, there's a beep. Okay, so much for that. Okay, so this cache is nuts. Okay, so that's when I kind of started thinking I've got to start putting some jokes in here, some dad jokes and things like that. This cache is nuts. That was a corny pun, Daniel. So acorn, corny. So yeah, dad jokes, bad jokes, bad dad jokes being put in. But anyway, there's this puzzle here. You have to figure it out, solve it to get the thing open, and it's an actual puzzle. I forget. It's not a puzzle that's there in Germany at that location, but there is a gadget cache that this was based off of. And I remember Josh and I were talking about it for a while, trying to make sure that we have the right, you know, code for it. And even when we had the book finished, then we looked into it and we were like, oh wait, we had the numbers wrong. So, and the answer to this puzzle is in the back of the book there. So if you have it, you can take a look at that and see what to do with that there. And wife is home, yay! So now off to page 11 here. All right, he gets the cache open there. Okay, they fist bump. And then Daniel's a dancer. He likes to go out dancing and raving and stuff. So that's a reference to his dancing right there. Victory dances are not required, but they are fun. So yes. And then he has Joshua finds a ticket to another geocache that he has to go to complete his quest here. As you can see here, Bison Air. Bison tubes are what you will find or what you will find when you are out geocaching. That's a type of container. So there's that. Generally, they're round, probably about like so long, and people like to hang them from trees and fences and things. They're called bison tubes. I have no idea why, but bison air is reference to the bison tube. And you can see here that Joshua now has to go to Brazil. And if you look at this, the way it is written, Brazil. Remember that movie Brazil by gosh, I can't believe I forgot his name. Monty Python. In the movie Brazil. Now I have to look this up, so I do apologize here because I can't believe I forgot it. Terry Gilliam. Wow. I'm sorry, Terry. I forgot. But anyway, if you look at the movie posters for Brazil, or the way Brazil is written on the DVDs, the Blu-rays, the VHSs, the movie posters and things, it's this. I copied the way it was written and put on there. So that is reference to the movie Brazil. All right. First page of that done. Holy cow. And page 12. And Brazil is the location of one of the ape caches. It's one of the two that are remaining. There's another ape cache which is out here in Snoqualmie Pass area, not too far from here. So if you want to find one of the two ape caches, you have to come up here to the Seattle area or go down to Brazil. And Joshua's inviting Daniel to go along with him to find this cache, and Daniel's like, nope, I'm going to go dancing tonight. It's going to be nuts. Okay, bad joke right there. And Joshua's on a plane leaving. Auf Wiedersehen, Daniel, and I forget what that means. I think it's bye or something. I forget. I'm sorry. But anyway, Bison Air, and hey, what's this? That might be a code right there for you to log as a trackable. And then Joshua finally makes it to Brazil, and he's at the falls. I forget the name of the falls. I should have put a little word bubble there explaining the falls that he is at, but Joshua actually went there a few years ago and filmed an episode there. He went to find the ape cache there, and that place is pretty friggin' amazing. Those falls down there in Brazil. Waterfall. Oh, I'm sorry. I wrote down here Iguazu. 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 That's the waterfall right there in Brazil. And then this Cody, is an animal there. A Cody appears and takes Joshua to the ape cache. Now it's funny because these are from the falls to the ape cache. It's like a long trip, but the thing shows up and it's like, here we are. But yeah, you really can't do that. So Coyotes are really cool, mischievous animals. They like to run around and steal things from people. And Joshua's telling me stories about how they would like run up there to you. They would try and dig in pockets and things like that. But they're really cool looking, fun animals. and they find this big cache out here. It's locked. And now here's a search game where you have to look and find the golden key to open the lock there. So what I did for this was I was wanting my daughter, the kid, to draw some of these codies. So my job for her was to draw these. Can you draw me some codies? She drew a couple, but she just didn't like them and then didn't want to do it, and it kind of just turned into like, fine, I'll go ahead and do it. So what I did is I drew like 5 of these things. As you can see, they kind of have, there's some that are the same. So I drew 5, and then I would move them around on the page, and I would twist them and turn them around. I would flip it and reverse it, shrink them down, and then maybe redraw things so they would have different things in their hand. Like here's honey jar. Maybe that's a hidden item. And then, I would put a Walkman in there, or a USB drive. There's 32 meg drive, or a game controller. So I would redraw them, but make them different enough there so it wasn't like the same thing. And then I would just put different objects in their hand, like, hey, money, or my wife's car keys. Hey, there's tweezers. That's a tool of the trade. Hey, wait, what's this? It's a fez hat. It's Grunkle Stan's fez hat. Grunkle Stan from Gravity Falls. And hey, what's that thing right there? There's an ammo can. Maybe that has a code on you for you to look at. You got watermelon. You got a fire hydrant. I think a fire hydrant was one of the hidden items. And there's an axe, a little guitar, another thumb drive, another ammo can, and you got the Triforce. From Zelda, Link to the Past and whatnot. Those games, you got the Triforce right there, and then you have a conch shell. Um, Different things. There's a lock and lock container. There's a flashlight, because flashlights, I've seen them as geocaching containers. And you have a bottle. So there's that. And I like this joke here. Like, look at all this stuff these mischievous animals have stolen. How did they get my car keys? I didn't even bring my car keys on this voyage, because, they're little mischievous animals and they like to steal things. So there is that. Little punks. Um, Next page, page 15. Okay, so after you find the key on that page, he opens it up, and then there's a movie prop that's in there. I'll explain this in a second. My wife is closing the garage door downstairs. Okay. The thing about the ape caches, when they were hidden to help promote the first Planet of the Apes movie. Um, and if you found one of these 12 or 14 caches, there was a movie prop in them. So you would have an actual prop from the Planet of the Apes movie. And this one here, the one in Brazil, I think it had like a bowl in it. So we found the information regarding, in regards to the prop that was in it. We saw it was a bowl, or we think it was a bowl. So I drew that, put that in, and that's the item that he finds. And then, of course, the Cody here is like, let me check the value of that online. So, because he wants to take a look and see if it's worth anything, so he can maybe pawn it off. But then, Joshua finds the movie prop there, and then he gets a clue that he has to go to another geocache. This one here he has to go to next is in Mount Everest. And there's the bowl, and then all of a sudden the Cody shows up, and he's like, hey, I've got some climbing gear here for you, so don't ask me where I got this stuff, because the Cody stole it. Cody's. So yeah, cup from the Planet of the Apes movie. Okay. So then Joshua leaves, and he's getting on Iguazu Air. Iguazu Air is an airline that a friend of his owns down in Brazil and South America, I believe. So you wanted that put in there as reference to his friend there. And hey, what's that thing right there? Maybe that's another trackable code. So anyway, Joshua leaves, and the Cody's there still trying to pawn off the boot. And then he flies out to Nepal and gets to Mount Everest, where he sees Land Monkey here. Land Monkey is based off of Jay Kennedy, a geocaching person, a friend that we know that lives up in Vancouver, BC area there in Canada. And he has a caching name of Land Monkey. And so here he is. The Land Monkey is sitting right here. Now, if you look, you'll see he has blue and green on. I chose blue and green because those are Seattle Seahawks colors. Sorry, Jay. But now you know where those colors came from. So Seattle Seahawks colors right there. Let's see here. And let's see. So the cache that Josh was looking for here is an Earth cache. An Earth cache is a location you go out to when you have to answer a question regarding some land formation or structure or something like that. So it's kind of like you'll go out to like a field trip to a location and you see something and you're generally asked to answer questions regarding that, that land formation or whatever. So Josh was here, meets up with Land Monkey, and Land Monkey is explaining the Earth cache right here. Earth caches do not have a physical container, but rather one must answer questions that can only be discovered at the Earth cache's location to claim the find. So you're not finding a logbook or something to sign. You go out, you see something, and you answer a question on it. There we go. And now here, Joshua puts on his mountain climbing gear because he has to bundle up there to climb the mountain. I looked up a lot of stuff in regards to climbing gear for Mount Everest, and I saw like this type of suit was pretty common, so I put that on there, but I changed the face mask around. If you look at this, the nose and mouthpiece and these things here on the side, it's Gundam. And I think that's one of the hidden items there in the back of the book was the Gundam mask. So he has a Gundam mask on for his snowsuit there, or his climbing gear. And let's see here. And Joshua makes it up to the top. So here's a puzzle that you have to, you'll find your way through. You have to find your path through that there. That was all sorts of fun to draw. And you get up to the top and you finished. And Joshua is saying, it's amazing, joke, play on words there. We made it to the top. And Land Monkey here is saying that was a perfectly planned pun, partner, because Land Monkey, Jay, he likes to say a string of words that start off with the same letter. So put that in there just for him, just for you, Jay. That joke is for you right there. It's a perfectly planned pun, partner. So yeah. Off to page 18. And let's see. He gets up to the top, takes his Gundam mask off, and he says, they climbed 29,032 feet of Mount Everest. And let's see, and there's some, and now we started really laying on the dad jokes and bad jokes here in as I progressed from like that part on, because it was like I just need to put more jokes in there to kind of humor myself, and I hope that they would humor the readers. So it's like it kind of starts off where there's like not much at the beginning, maybe a couple of jokes here and there, and then there's lots of jokes that come in from like this point on. A lot of play on words and things too. Say cheese. Might this be the best picture of you on the quest to find the greatest treasure? It surely may. Like, sure, really, surely may. Surely is a type of monkey. So that was a play on words right there. And then he puts in the answer, and Josh was talking about the slow data connection that he has up there because, well, he's on top of a friggin' mountain. And then Land Monkey is saying his, that he brought a extra LAN connection because Land Monkey. Yeah, so I think that was Josh's joke. I don't know, but that was pretty funny. I hope you got a kick out of that, Jay. So then Josh puts in the answer, and then he has another notification here that he has to go to this other geocache now to continue his quest. So he's really kind of starting to get depressed about this. Land Monkey takes a picture, and Joshua's starting to doubt the whole journey. I'm starting to think there's no greatest treasure. Land Monkey's like, what? And let's see. And then Land Monkey's like, don't give up, Joshua. If you set your mind to it, you can do anything. And I believe that's a line or a quote from Back to the Future. So there's that. So a Back to the Future reference there to match the other Back to the Future items that were hidden at the beginning of the book. And that's why not Josh, but the Land Monkey is like, where have I heard that before? Because it's from the movie. And so Josh gets on the plane and he goes flying off to Egypt this time. And Land Monkey's sitting there, Seahawks colors again, sorry monkey, and eating a banana. And I think it was when I met Jay in 2018, 2019 at the Ape event, we made a joke about something, and I think I gave him a banana, but the banana was upside down, which is why he's kind of holding it like that as opposed to the top part there. Hello. Um, that being at the top of the banana right there. And then there's a person right there behind Josh. And then Josh was saying, thank you, Jay. That advice you gave was appealing. Because appealing a banana. Wow. Okay. Yeah. And that's why I put down, yes, our puns are going there because it was just like. I had to make it fun and entertaining somehow, right? So anyway, and hey, what is that? Looks like there's a nano geocaching container hidden on the armrest of that bench right there. Maybe that might be one of the hidden items in the back of the book, kids. Hope you're keeping score here. Now, here's another double page spread. Joshua goes down to Egypt. And let's see. So he meets Gary, the camel. Gary Skinner. He's another vlogger. He has a geocaching podcast, kind of gadget cache based. But he wanted to be a camel in this book. So here he is. And he's got his little scarf on there. And let's see here. So Josh is there. He's lost his phone, and he has this scarf, shamag, what I think it's called. And I kind of put that on there for reference to Joshua Gates from Expedition Unknown, somebody who I'd love to go geocaching with. But, whenever he's out on his adventures, especially out in the desert, he has his, neck scarf and shamag on there to keep your sun off your neck and everything there. So great, useful thing to have. But so Josh has it there, and he can't find his camera. And I can't vlog either. How embarrassing. So he's all upset there. But then Gary's like, yeah, you can take a picture with your cell phone. Because at a virtual cache, what you need to do is you go there, you visit a location, kind of like an Earth cache, and you can take a picture of yourself there to show and prove that you were there. Um, so Josh was upset that he lost his camera, and Gary was like, "Dude, you can just use your cell phone," and then face palm. So, description of what a virtual cache is, and um, what you need to do here is you need to look for his camera, which looks like this, and it's somewhere here in the pyramid. So you need to look through and find that thing. But oh my goodness, kids, there's a lot of stuff hidden on here. Let's start at the top. 10:05 or 10:08 that's the time that the lightning struck the bell tower in Back to the Future. You have a Pokeball, you have an old camera there, you have Doctor Who sonic screwdrivers, you have pencils, tools of the trade, you have Hollyhop, the Hollyhop device from Red Dwarf, you have a birthday cake, you have old cameras, you have a 9-volt battery camera, audio cassette, silhouette of somebody, whistle, video camera, there's a bag. That was like a flash device, I think, or a web camera. You have another camera, treasure chest, magnifying glass. Hey, it's magnifying glass. You have cash pants. Who is this? That is Bill Cipher. And then you have your cameras, you have your boots. So you have a TARDIS. You have a old flip phone here, and this is the fold page for the double spread for the comic. Um, so it kind of looks a little funky because it's going to look like this. So there's that. You have Bender's head from Futurama. You have a mouse. You have a GPS unit. You have Mabel's shirt from Gravity Falls. You have some shorts. You have a puzzle piece, which is the indicator icon from geocaching. When you solve a puzzle and you put the final coordinates in, that's how it will show up on the map. You have a nano container. You have, I believe that's a PlayStation 2 controller. You have a flower pot. You have the old UFO thing from, I want to believe, from X-Files. You have a camera. You have a preform tube. You have a Battlestar Galactica Viper, because that was Egypt influenced or based from that old TV series. You have a weird funky kids camera. You have another camera. You have key. You have the fish symbol thing that was on Grunkle Stan's hat from Gravity Falls. You have an exclamation mark from Metal Gear Solid. This was like an old kids camera thing. I think my daughter had a camera like that. You have a Band-Aid. You have another camera. You have Battlestar Galactica. You have my Juke. Hey, maybe that's one of the hidden items that I mentioned in the back of the book. You have a Polaroid camera. You have the ship from Futurama. You have a land speeder. You have a sandal. You have another weird camera. You have Dipper's hat from Gravity Falls. You have a weird funky camera there. You have a roll of film. That's another weird camera. That's one of the first camera phones. I think it was like an LG or something. You have another Polaroid. You have the DeLorean from Back to the Future. You have a camera. You've got a cat face. I can't remember what that's from, if that's like a reference to Gravity Falls or if that's just something I just drew. You have an anvil. Why? I don't know. Because those things fell on Wile E. Coyote's head in so many Roadrunner cartoons. You have another camera. You have a camera. Hey, it's R2-D2. You have another camera. You have scissors. You have like a Nintendo Switch. You have a Bison tube. Remember I was talking about Bison tubes earlier. You have a music note. You have a skateboard, Back to the Future. You have BMO from Adventure Time. You have an ammo can. You have a Swiss Army knife. You have, maybe that may be the camera you're looking for. There's an audio cassette. There's a camera. There's a bag with a heart. I forget what that's from. And then there's the star symbol from Mabel's shirt from Gravity Falls. You have the Mr. Fusion. You have Xbox controller. Whoops. You have drums. You have an SD card. You have a flashlight. You have a 9-volt battery camera. There's another Polaroid. You have another key. You have a VHS tape. Watch it in 7 days. An old keypad slide out phone. That's like an old LG phone, I believe. That's another GPS device. You have a pizza cutter. You have a camera. Some weird phone. You have a roller pen. Camera, phone. Yes, that's right, kids. That's what we used to talk on, not cell phones back in the day. Camera, 9-volt battery, another camera, music note, a guitar, and another camera. So, a lot of hidden stuff right there for you to look at and enjoy. So, yeah. Now, off to page 22. Okay, Josh finds his camera there, and they can take the picture. So it's cheese, cheese. He takes his picture, and then he gets another message of another place to go to. No jokes on that page. I kind of just wanted to proceed with the story. And Joshua now has to go to Florida, and he's like thinking, oh, maybe there's an amusement park there he can go to, and when he finds his cache. And Gary makes reference to his back looking like a roller coaster. And here we go. I put some dad jokes or bad dad jokes on here. So I wonder what kind of caches I'll find in Florida. It's hard to say, but hopefully they will have good camouflage. Yeah, that was bad. So even Josh is like twists and turns around like, what? And he's like, wow, you must have waited a long time to say that joke. And, since last Wednesday, hump day. Guess he's a camel and he's got a hump on his back. So, uh, yeah, I had to have a fun transition from here to go to Florida, and I just didn't want to jump into like Florida mid page here, so we just kind of, I should say, I kind of threw in some jokes there for it, and then Josh was thinking, hey, before we go, I should get something to eat. I'll pack a lunch for you, meaning like I will pack a lunch for you. I'll pack a lunch for you. Come on, people, these jokes just don't write themselves. And yes, that was the pun that broke the camel's back. Okay, I'll stop for now. So there we go. They're walking off into the sunset there to the Great Pyramids, so Joshua can continue his journey and go to Florida. And it's funny because Joshua was actually in Florida a month or so ago at this webcam cache where he recreated this photo, which was pretty cool. So when he took pictures there and showed it to me where he's in the pose, looking at the webcam, doing all that, that was awesome. I enjoyed that so much. But anyway, he goes to this webcam cache where for a webcam cache, you go there and hey, here's a description. You go to a location that has a webcam, you get a picture, or you get the webcam there. If it takes a picture of you, you get a copy of the screenshot, you post it to the web page as a find, and that's your find right there. So anyway, he's here posing for this webcam, and there's the webcam right there. Webcam geocache photo spot. You better believe it, or beta, beta. It's a beta fish. I know, bad joke. And he's there at Cape Canaveral. Now, when we were working on this comic, we did have some interviews on some geocaching podcasts, and one of the local ones here, Caching in the Northwest, Joshua and I were on there. We were talking about the comic and everything, and there is one of the um, uh, one of the viewers. Her name is her online name or caching name is UDAC, and in fact, she was a Patreon for the book. And she has a picture. I drew an animal for her on the Patreon page or the Kickstarter page for people who contributed to the book. If they contributed a certain amount, we would put their draw like an animal caricature of them, or I would draw it and put them in the back of the book in one of the pages. That's coming up here. But anyway, she's on the show, or in there in the chatting on the Caching in the Northwest group, and she was really interested in the comic here, and she made a contribution there and everything. And I put her name, her caching name, right there. So it's UDAC. So that there is for you, UDAC. All right. And then when Josh gets his picture taken with the webcam, he's looking at it, and hey, there's a dog there. What? He turns around, and there's a dog in a spacesuit. It's Annie. Annie is she works at geocaching headquarters. She's a local geocacher, an awesome person. Um, she see Joshua was talking with her, getting information in regards to like what we can do with the book and things like that, and um, we put her in the, or he put her in the book. And as you can see, dog, spacesuit here. He's got, she's got a jetpack. Um, let's see. It's time for us to see something that's out of this world because Cape Canaveral and they have a spacesuit and things. So anyway, bad joke right there. Um, but anyway, so this dog was designed by my daughter, the kid. Because again, as I said earlier, I wanted her to help draw uh, the Central Park thing, but I knew that was too much for her, so I skipped that. I wanted her to draw the Codys, and she was kind of along with that there, but then she stopped and was like, "No, I just don't want to draw that." But I was like, "Hey, you got to draw me something because I bought you a laptop, I bought you all like this computer program, art program, bought you a display, digital display here, so you can do your artwork and stuff on it. You got to pay me back somehow. You have to draw me something." So when I was getting up to this portion of the book here, I said, "Hey, can you draw a golden retriever in a space suit, like an astronaut suit?" And she drew a picture, and which is in the back of the book here. So we'll get to that page, and you'll see what she drew for this dog. So that's why she's got kind of credits in the book there, and when autographing the book because she helped do some artwork and create one of the characters. So again, this dog Annie was designed by my daughter, the kid. Thanks, kid, if you're watching this. And now here we go, page 25. It was in the original layout that Josh gave me. It was like he meets the dog, they say, "Let's go into space," and then like the next page, they were actually in space. And I thought there needs to be like an extra page or something in here. There has to be some type of transition of where they see the rocket and then they use that to get up in space. But I didn't know what, or um, so what I came up with was for that page is this right here of where they go to. I forget what these, I don't know what these buildings are called down there where they store the rockets in them. Um, but I thought it'd be kind of cool to have a rocket, but then have different types of cache containers on it. And I added this puzzle for it to like, can you find these hidden cache containers? Like a centrifuge tube. Can you find the centrifuge tube? There's 2 nanos. There's 2 ammo cans. And then 3 bison tubes. So all those things are right there. And then they're looking at it there, and we'll get off the planet to find a geocache in space, and which is kind of a parody of Pigs in Space, geocache in space, and that joke pops up again later. Um, so they have the mobile platform there with the rocket. They see it going out, and then he's like, "Yeah." He suddenly realizes that they're going to go into space to find the next geocache, and he's all excited about it there, but he has to get his spacesuit on because she's already in a spacesuit. So Joshua's looking over here and sees this spacesuit here. This spacesuit is what they wore in 2001 Space Odyssey there. So um, that's the suit that David wore, the red suit with the yellow boots and the control the control stuff on his chest there in the helmet. So there you go. It's a 2001 Space Odyssey reference right there. And then they make it out to space. I had to look up a 3D model of the International Space Station online, and I could move it around and I could position it to where I wanted it. Then I took a screenshot of it, then brought it into this program, and then I just drew and traced over it. So that's how I drew the space station. But then, boom, there they are. There they are, flying to the space station to dock with it there. And let me. So here we go. Back on page 25, he's like, "No way, you mean?" And then Annie's, "Yes. After you get your spacesuit on, we're going to the International Space Station." And then Josh was all, "Wow, it took you a long time to finish that sentence," because you figure they got to put the suit on, get into the rocket, get the rocket into position, launch, get into space, and then get up to the right altitude there to dock to the International Space Station. And she's finishing the sentence. One thing that kind of drives me crazy when I watch TV shows is where they'll have like long periods of time where they won't be speaking, and then when they start speaking, it's like they're continuing on from like the last scene, like it was like minutes ago, but it was like, hours and maybe a half day or so had passed, and then they're still talking about the same thing, um, to where it's like, did you pause for like half a day and then finish your sentence? So I don't know. That was something that kind of drives me crazy when I watch TV shows where they do things like that. So that's why he's like, "Wow, it took you a long time to finish that sentence." Um, Here we go, page 25. Let's see. Close that. Okay, actually page 26. And if you look back here, there's the Red Dwarf and Jupiter mining ship from Red Dwarf, a favorite TV show of mine. So I put it on there. It's got some solar panels. It's docked to the back of the International Space Station. Of course, if it was the real Red Dwarf, the thing would be like 5 miles long and completely, this thing would be so small compared to it. And then I continue on with the 2001 jokes. Now Annie's saying, "Now Joshua, please prepare for docking. Open the pod bay doors, Sal." Take off of the phrase "open the pod bay doors," Hal, from 2001. But she's saying Sal. Why? Because there's a salamander on board. Bad pun right there. And then the salamander here is saying, "Roger that, Annie. Proceed to Docking Bay 94. Docking Bay 94 was from Star Wars. It was where the Millennium Falcon was, and Mos Eisley." And then Josh was saying, "I can't believe this. I'm going to find a geocache in space." Again, another parody there from Pigs in Space. Let's see here. And then, is there a geocache in space? Yes, there is actually a geocache on the International Space Station. And then they get up into the space station here, and then they are looking around. And then here's another 2001 reference, but also it's two puns or jokes for the price of one. "Oh my goodness, it's full of stars and satellites. Oh my god, oh my god, it's full of stars." Just a second. Getting a little thirsty here. "Oh my god, it's full of stars" is a line from 2001 to where he's going up to the monolith and it's doing its thing, and he says, "Oh my god, it's full of stars." And I think that's his last broadcast, or the last thing he says before he disappears. So this is in reference to that. This is also with Stars and Satellites. Stars and Satellites is the song or the title of a song from my favorite band, The Birthday Massacre. So I wanted to put like a reference to them in here, but I kind of didn't know what to do until I got this page or this panel drawn up. And then I was wanting to have, Josh was say like, "Oh my God, it's full of stars." And then I thought, stars and satellites. Hey, that's the name of the song. I'll put that there. So, oh my goodness, it's full of stars and satellites. Reference there to 2001, and again, a song from my favorite band, The Birthday Massacre. And now I really had fun drawing these pages here because instead of Joshua just going to a location, standing there, meeting an animal, solving a puzzle, then going to a new location and standing there seeing the uh, the geocache and then have an animal come up, um, I had a chance to draw something different. So Joshua floating around in 0G, like I love this transition here where he's slowly floating around and he's upside down. This is like one of my favorite pages. In fact, I think this is my favorite page. Um, so anyway, they're going to the locker at the end of this hallway here, and hey, what's this? 9K, 9,000. It's a red light. 9,000. It's HAL. It's HAL 9,000. That's right. HAL 9,000 is on the International Space Station. So how about that? So another 2001 reference there. Holy cow. So Josh goes to the back of the hallway there. He sees this trackable there. And he's talking about the trackable there, like how can what's this trackable doing here? Um, and Annie is saying there's no logbook for this cache because the paper for the logbooks that you signed could be a fire hazard on the International Space Station. I did not know that. And then hey, there's a code right there. But then so when you go on the International Space Station and you find this geocache, it's just a trackable coin thing. There's no paper because again, it could be a fire hazard. Interesting, huh? So anyway, so then he logs the trackable code and stuff online through his phone, which is like I didn't know. I think we had a joke in reference to um, how can he do that if he doesn't? If he's how would he have a cell connection in space? um, so but I think yeah we left that out there. So he logs in. Maybe it's got good Wi-Fi on the International Space Station. I don't know. So he the Trackables webpage there says that that this is not the greatest treasure. He still has to go elsewhere. What? Poor Josh. And let's see here. And again, 2001 spacesuit here that Joshua is wearing. And yeah, 2001 spacesuit. You got the HAL 9000 back there. Wow, so many references to 2001. And then page 28 here. Okay, so they realize, let's see, because he has to go back down to Seattle now. Or let's see. So he has his coordinates that he has to put in, and then he shows it to Annie, and Kenny's like, "Oh, I know that area like the back of my paw, like the back of my hand, back of my paw. Come on, she's a dog. Quick, Joshua, back to the rocket." So they go back to the rocket here. Now we had troubles with this panel here. I'll just go ahead and read what's here. It says, "We are ready to depart. Close the blast doors." A line from Star Wars, close the blast doors. Close the blast doors. But what I originally had planned for this was airplane references. I was going to say, give me an approach vector, Victoria. Um, oh gosh, let me see what approach vector, Victoria. Give me some clearance, Clarice. Not the exact lines from airplane, but I wanted to kind of like a play on words and changed the names around a little bit there, which I had, and it had them here, but then Joshua was like, "Nah, I don't like those. It's not funny." He did, I don't know, he didn't like them, and I was like, "Come on, it's referenced airplane." He goes, "Yeah, I know, I get it, but maybe a lot of like the newer younger kids these days, I think, might not get it." So I went ahead and I put in the "Close the blast doors" from Star Wars, which I hope people got that reference there. But yeah, I had airplane reference there for that, but didn't make it to the book. So then they're taking off here. Boosters have been detached, so now it's like just like a small landing capsule. Prepare for re-entry. And Joshua's, "Whoa, this is heavy," which is a reference to Back to the Future, because Marty was always, "This is heavy, this is heavy." And then as they're going through the atmosphere, Joshua's singing or saying, "I'm feeling hot, hot, hot." Come on, you know that song. So he's singing that, and then you're getting some educational stuff here too. We are reaching temperatures of 3,000 degrees Fahrenheit. The heat shield will give us protection. Yada yada. So I looked that up and was like, wow, found out some interesting information on that there. And then they land at their final destination. Kind of a pun reference to the movie's Final Destination. That's why he's saying, not the movie, right? But seriously, where did we touch down? And I unfortunately didn't put a question mark there. Even after some serious proofreading and things that we had, and some issues with the first batch of copies of the books where we had a lot of typos and things, then we fixed those. Still didn't get a question mark on there. So it's like, whoops. So he lands there. So Final Destination reference, and then hey, Seattle, Washington. Annie's home. So the ship landed in the bay there, and they can see the Space Needle. And then they guide their little capsule to the piers down there on the waterfront in Seattle. You have the Ferris wheel back there, and this is like an actual location down there on the waterfront. Hey, maybe that code is worth something right there. Might be something there. Maybe a hidden trackable. But anyway, there's like a crab sign there. You got a dog running, and hey, Purple Rabbit. That's another reference to my favorite band, the Birthday Massacre. They have rabbit mascot, and everything is colored purple. They love the color purple. But anyway, the capsule's coming up, and they meet Komikino and the kid. That's right. That is me right there. And there's the kid. She's right there on her phone. And purple, again, reference. So then Joshua sees us. Komikino and the kid, what brings you here? And it's basically it turns out that let's see. It turns out that it's the kid and I had been the ones leading Joshua all over the world to find these geocaches, to go to these different locations, these different cache types, and then we bring them here to Seattle for a unique cache, or a unique cache hide, which will be an event. So yes, events where you meet other cachers and things like a little party or group or gathering. Those can be cache hides as well too, and count as a find. So basically, he's the kid is saying, "Can I stop sending him all these texts and clues since he's here now?" And he's like, "Hey friends," because he says that all the time. "It's good to see you two again. It's been a while since we." Wait, what? You two were the ones sending me on this adventure? You've got to be kidding me. Yeah, I know. Bad pun. Parody right there. And yep, I would have told you sooner, but a cat got my tongue. Joke. And there I am. I'm just like, those are bad puns. Now, my cat pattern and fur pattern here is from an old cat that I had when I was growing up. The cat's name was Garfield, orange tabby cat. So I gave myself that color, the pattern of that cat. So that's based off of an old cat that I had. And my daughter, she's has tortoise shell cat patterns. We had a cat, Dexter, who died. Um, I think it was maybe like a page or so before this when I was working on this comic. My cat used to sit right here next to me. If you read the back of the book, I explain it, but my cat would sit here. Loved that cat. And so we gave her Dexter's cat pattern. So I'd have a picture of a cat there and I would paint it there. So, but that was before she passed away. I think like maybe when we were when I was working on the space pages there. So it was near the end of the book when she passed away. But anyway, so Josh was here wondering about the let's see, Supernauts. Oh, hey, Supernauts. No, I'm not making another one. I'm just kind of going over all the jokes and stuff in reference to what was in the actual book and this here. So I'm going over like the jokes and the hidden items and things like that that were in the comic. So you can watch from the beginning here to see all the stuff, or I'll go ahead and put this on my YouTube channel here this Friday. Oh, it was such a good book. Thank you, thank you. Thank you for buying a copy there. I think you were one of the contributors to the book at the beginning, right? I'll have her answer that or him. I don't know which one is there. It's a team of two. But anyway, so they're there on the waterfront, and the Komikino and the kid, the cat, and I. Oh yes, you were. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. I really appreciate that for your contribution there to help get this thing going and get it launched. No pun intended, because we're on the space page. Anyway, wow. So anyway, Annie leaves, and Komikino and the kid take Joshua to the Space Needle, where there's a big event going on. So this is an event is another, as I said, cache hide that you can get. And as you can see here, it was around like this time where um, Josh was like, okay, I just want like animals. And I was like, animals? Just all animals? I can't have a person? And he's, no, I wanted it all to be animals. And I was like, oh, okay. Because I was kind of under a misinterpretation of what was going on. And again, I thought it was like a world like Cool World or like the Muppets in the Muppet movie where you have humans and animals, then they would all interact together. But here's a guy right here. That's my friend Paul. That's right. Paul's back. He's right there. And then he shows up again here, but he's in the fold of the book. And um, so he wouldn't be seen because it's like right in there. But kind of just put him there in reference. And then there's all of these animals here. My cache rocks because cache, you have like a fake rock as a cache. Cache Antarctic. Wow Cache. Now you might remember the Wow Dog, DOGE. This is the dog. Wow Cache. And then hey, it's a signal stuffed animal or a reference to one. It's not the original because we couldn't get the rights there to put it in, so we just put like a stuffed animal frog there. This shark was something that I drew for a team event at when I used to work at Verizon. Oh, many years ago, I drew a shark. And when I was drawing all these animals here, I thought, oh, I should put that shark in there. So that's where the shark comes from. And these are pictures of the area down there by the Space Needle with a big water fountain. You have a hamster dude there. You got the kid sitting there. There's Paul's back. And so they're at this event. And, company just explains what the events or what events are. And So Joshua's still kind of on this whole thing about what's the greatest treasure? What is the greatest treasure? Um, and the kid is like, you're looking at what the treasure is for geocaching. And I would have to say, yes, this is what the greatest treasure is about geocaching is the people that I've met through this journey and this adventure of playing this game. I met Joshua, and I watched his videos. The kid and we watched his videos. Um, One of his videos helped give the kid confidence to go through the tunnel at the Snoqualmie Tunnel where that ape cache is, because she was just like a little kid at the time. I told her about it, like it's going to be this long tunnel. You have to walk through it. It might be kind of scary. And she was all like, no, I don't want to do it. And a friend of mine said, hey, you have to watch Joshua's video in regards to the ape tunnel. So we sat down and watched it together. And then she was like, yeah, I think I can do that. And then we did it. We made it. We went through the tunnel because of Joshua, his videos. And then as time went on, we eventually met up with him at 2018 at the GeoCoin Fest event, and we got a chance to go caching with him. And then that's when he kind of found out, like my artwork and stuff. He kind of started taking notice of it then, I guess, and my daughter's talent at that time. And that eventually led to this project, working on this comic. So, yeah, and I explain the story in the back of the book here, but us watching his video led up to this comic book. Yes, it's cold in that tunnel. Yes, it is, and it takes you about, what is it, like 45 minutes or so to walk through it too. But it's fun. It's great. Even if you're not a cacher, go to the Snoqualmie Tunnel, walk through that tunnel. It's lots of fun. And here I am saying it. You have been experiencing the greatest treasure all along. The most wonderful thing about geocaching, most wonderful things about geocaching are the amazing places, and even greater, the friends that you make along the way. Like Supernaut here, in the chat right now. We met them because of this hobby. Um, and then Joshua realizes that, yeah, I found the greatest treasure. And then Joshua's all sad, like, I wish I could see all those friends again. I'm sure they would love this big event. And it's like, well, look behind you. Huh? And then there we go. All the animal friends that he met in the comic are here with him. They were there at the event waiting for him to show up, and big reunion time. And it's all my friends that I met along the way. They're here. You are all the greatest treasure. And Monkey's got a banana and, hey, traffic cone, huh? Maybe that might be a hidden item. Um, but yeah, and the whole gang is there together again. So story idea, plot, layouts, Joshua, and I did all the artwork and dad jokes. So I would have to bounce like the dad jokes and stuff off of Josh, because he would give me like the layouts for the pages, and then as I said, I would flesh it out, format it into comic page layout, add to the dialogue, and then I would say, oh, I'm going to go ahead and put a dad joke here and say this and that. Is that okay? And then he would be like, yeah, that's awesome. Do it. Sweet. So so that's where that's the comic there. That's the pages that we that are in the book. The jokes and things are to it, but wait, there's more. If you were, let's see, actually, to fund the project, open. There we go. To fund the project, we had a Kickstarter thing, but it was like Indiegogo. To where we would have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 14, 15 spots open, to where if you pledged a certain amount, we would put your animal picture or caricature of you in the book. So even though the comic ended right there, we're still talking. And what I was kind of originally wanting to do was have like a 4 panel layout comics in the back of the book to where they would be like jokes, kind of like in my book, the the complete collection of Stabby Stew. Um, there's like like 4 panel comics, as you can see. I was wanting to put like a set of those in the back of the book to where we would make jokes about things that would happen in the comic here. Like one thing I always thought of when I was working on this was like, where are we coming up with all of that money for to fund Josh to go around to all these places, to have those plane tickets, to get up to the International Space Station. So as we got this far in the book, I was like, I just don't want to do those because that would take too much time, and we were wanting to get this thing done for the 2022 uh, block party event. But I still had to do a comic, or I had to do a joke about that money, which is basically what's going on with these panels right here. So Josh was talking. He's taking, this adventure's taking me all over the world. Thanks guys. And we're like, yeah, no problem. We're honored to be some of the friends that you've made through geocaching, which is true. We, again, as I said, met him, became friends with him because of the video that he did, meeting up with him, caching with him, and all of that led up to this experience. And he's like, I can't believe it. I went into space. How amazing is that? That must have cost you a fortune. And then here's my joke that I finally put in. Well, the kid can't go to college now because of that. What? You better be wrong, Dad. When Mom finds out, there'll be a catastrophe on your hands. Another joke. So I love that picture of her freaking out. Um, I wish I had it here, but there's a little anime called Agretsuko about I think it's like a um, what is it? It's like a raccoon or a red raccoon or a red panda, um, an animal, and she gets mad and upset with her coworkers in this animation. That's on Netflix, I think, Agretsuko, and she has this look on her face when she gets mad, like she gets squinty, and then her mouth kind of turns into this like triangle shape when she just freaks out, and you've got the tail all puffing up and stuff there. So Agretsuko was reference for these aggression, which aggression, Agretsuko. So it's a parody pun off of that. So so she's all freaking out. Then you have the catastrophe joke there, and then he's talking about like how did you afford all of this stuff? And then um, so I just reveal that hey, it wasn't me taking money from the kids' college fund. These people here donated money, and they made it possible. Wow, come on, people, these jokes, seriously, they got to be funny, right? Um, Come here, they want to say hi. So basically, a bad joke right there. um, and oh, this right here. What is that meme? Let me see here. I was just checking out what I wrote, and it's not making sense. Hmm. Um, but there's like a meme where it has like the kid on the beach, and he's like that little baby, and they use it for like showing like of your power and confidence, and you'll see that little meme of that baby. Uh, that's the pose right there. So she's doing that, and then here we go. All the people that helped contribute for the comic. So if you're watching this, hey, here you guys are. Caching cants, traveling armadillos, Scrabble hounds, kind of the dog, wow dog, dodge, kind of based it on that there. for that guy. We got a raccoon there for first to find guy, a deer for NSAJ, one kind word, a bald eagle. Hey, it's Joshua. And then you have C. Michelle. He's a geocacher vlogger from Australia. JMJWI. We have London Westy, part of the Cache Canada crew. Miss Pat, a lion. We have Little Squatch 1. And then we have Retired Guy. Retired Guy, um, he helped create Miss Pac-Man. So there we go. And he's got a red hat on. And then we have Caching Dutchman right there. And remember me mentioning UDAC earlier? Well, there she is. She wanted to have a Philippine eagle. And I had to, of course, I had to look up reference for all of these animals when I was drawing them. And the Philippine eagles, my God, those things look so cool. Majestic, beautiful bird. It's amazing. And the thing was that they had to have when we drew their caricature, when I drew their caricature, we had it set up to where they could have their name on there, they could choose the animal they wanted, and they could have a like a unique item or something, maybe like their trademark item. So some of these people had hats, as you can see. He has a like an Australian hat there. Scrabble Hounds has a Scrabble key piece on their shirt. Indiana Jones-ish type of a hat, glasses. I don't think he wanted anything. C. Michelle has the Australian hat. Dutchman has the GPS and GPS there. London Westy has his signature hat on. Miss Pat, I don't think she wanted anything, but I would when they would send their pictures so I can take a look at them, see what they look like in real life, and then try and put the characteristics of them in the animal pictures. I would put glasses. So I think the glasses, this guy here didn't want anything on him, but I drew his glasses there. That's his glasses, what they look like. That's what her glasses look like, and his. Little Squatch wanted a walking stick, and I put poppy seeds in his hand. Cashman had a GPS and a pin, and Udak has the Philippine flag symbol on her chest there. So there we go. All of that done right there. And that's where the comic officially ends. And then we have the contributor pages. These are where everybody who helped contribute in some way, shape, or form, some way, shape, or form. Got a friend's name right there. Let me see. Maybe that might be something. But so there's tons of names on here. Maybe there might be a geocaching code or something hidden somewhere here. I don't know. You look and you find. So 2 pages of contributors, people who helped fund the book and make it possible. So there's that. And when I finished the book, because it took a long time from like September 2000 to March, April of 2022. So a year and a half plus to do this because work full time and everything. I have to go out and go caching. So when I got to the end of the book, Josh was like, "Yeah, we should just go ahead and end it." But I was like, "I'm going to go ahead and put in a like how we created the book, or how the book was made." And Josh was kind of concerned about that because of the cost of everything, and I was just like, don't worry about the cost. We'll work it out." And then I made these comic creation pages, which basically me explaining what's going on, how the pages were made. See, we would have Joshua would just make a script and send it my way. Then I wanted him to send me rough page layouts so he could see what it takes to what are they doing? So he can see what it takes to create the page and maybe get a visual idea of how the pages are going to be laid out. and how many pages we would need. So he would send me these pages, like stick figures. Like here he is, he's there with the webcam, sees the dog, they're talking about it, and then boom, they're in space. Um, so that was what I was thinking. I needed something extra in there and put in that extra puzzle with the rocket. So I talk about the layout, uh, like what the writing of it there, the layouts, and then I would use my program, Clip Studio Paint, awesome program, and I would rough out a page, get the rough layout, and then I would put the words on there, the type, and then I would send that to him, like this right here. Say, hey, how does this look? And he would be like, yeah, that looks great. And then once I got the okay on a page, then I would start roughing it out and finalizing it, getting all the details and things put in. Fleshing it out a little bit. And you can see in the blue there, that's where the type is going to go. And then I would send that his way. And he would say, yeah, that looks great. Okay, cool. Then I would start inking because I didn't want to ink a page in and have him be like, hey, can you change this around? Because that would just take so much time. So once he okayed everything with the dialogue, I would, get it all inked in. Then I would put the dialogue in place. And then it would be time to add the flats. Basically, flats are just a flat color, blue sky, blue, green, gray, dark gray, green. And then once those were in place and the dialogue was in place there and everything's looking good, then I would start adding in special effects or just shading and highlights on things, adding depth and dimension to everything. So as you can see there, you got some reflection on there, you got the dark side, some shadow, gives it some shape and form. Shadows on the characters there, flesh them out a little bit. Reflection on the bubble mask there, and boom, done. So there's that. And then here we go. Rough sketches of what Joshua, or what I was drawing Joshua as, and you can see this was kind of like that first page. And then I was wanting to have more of cartoony look like this. I really wanted to go with that style, but Joshua was like, no, I wanted to look more serious. And so then we went back to that picture that I drew for him for that sticker, and then it kind of fleshed out and became, well, what it is in the book. And here we go. This is what the kid drew right there. That's the dog astronaut that she drew, and she drew that too there. So she was like, yay. So she partook of the book. And let's see here. There's a couple more pages to go. And then here we go. The Can You Find It stuff there. Traffic Cone, Mr. Fusion. A lot of these things here that I mentioned. And I think I covered or showed all this stuff there. All right, yeah. And the answer to the that one gadget cache is at the bottom down there under that thing. And I explained the trackables because there's like a lot of the trackable codes there and stuff, and I think I pointed those out as I was doing this here, so you can see those. And then we had to promote ourselves somehow because we're geocaching vloggers. We both have YouTube channels, and we have a page set up here for that. And Joshua came up with this awesome idea of using UPC codes, or these things here, to you put in your web link that you have on a site, and it will create these things for you. Then you can save it as a JPEG and stuff. So that really helped out because I was thinking, like, how are people going to look at a comic and then be like, oh, I have to go to your YouTube channel, youtube.com/geocaching vlogger YWXZ94. It's just, that's going to be so annoying. But these here, you can actually just use your phone, take a picture of it there, and then it will take you to the website there where you can see these videos. You have both of our channels here, so if you're watching now, you can use these to subscribe to our YouTube channels. I'll leave them there for a second so you can link to our channel. Let me move that down a little bit because I'm looking there at the, there we go. All right. And then here's some of the many screenshots I took of us as we were chatting, as we were working on this over like a year and a half plus. And then we teamed up. Here's our team up video where we teamed up with Joshua. So those are his videos, and these are my videos of the experience of us teaming up together and going out and going caching. And then I also wanted to have a kind of like about you, a biography page where we can talk about ourselves. And then as I was working on the book, figure, a good layout there. So 2 pages for Josh, and then, 2 pages for myself there. So these pages here are basically Joshua's story about, how he got into caching and all of that there. And these last batch of pages didn't take long to do. Like, it would take me, gosh, maybe 3 weeks, 2.5, 3 weeks or so to do one of those original pages that I was, those comic pages. It took a while because I was working full time and had to go out and go caching, of course, and just other things were going on, where it just took a lot of time. But these pages here, from like the contributor pages on, these didn't take long to do. I could kick out one of these pages in like a couple of days because it's just type, throw it in, throw in pictures, draw something, next page. So these were actually pretty easy to do. And hey, here's a Cody digging in on Josh's backpack trying to steal stuff. So that's why he wanted the Codys to be, snagging things. And so that was one page for Josh there. And then the second page for Josh, and he's got his UPC things there, so you can use those to your camera to take a picture of it in the book, and then they'll go to the his YouTube videos. So he's going through his geocaching story there. Hey, he says, once it was clear that Rich would be the perfect artist for the project, it morphed into a comic book. Because this was originally supposed to be a kid's book. But then when he saw my stuff, my artwork, he was like, how about make this into a comic? This would be pretty cool as a comic. And morphed into the comic book. And there we go. And his dog, Goliath. And then for my page, just a second. My page kind of makes sense. Unfortunately, I didn't put it in here as a split page. It is in the actual layout thing, but original pages. But as you can see here, it's a split here. So, because basically, what I wanted was to portray my daughter and I when we were out first geocaching. My daughter wanted to go out and look for pirate treasure, and when we were in Idaho one summer, and I was like, there's no pirate treasure out here in Idaho. And I remembered a news article that I read about geocaching, where you use your phone and you go out and you look for things. So you can look for stuff that people hide. So I thought maybe that would be good to do. So that's what got us into geocaching. And I portrayed that here to where on the left-hand side of the page, you see us out as pirates. We're out looking for pirate treasure. And then when you look at the other page, we find the treasure, but it's just us. We're just out geocaching. So I wanted to portray that here. Now, this whole layout with the purple background and the silhouettes, I have to give credit of that to my favorite band, the Birthday Massacre. They have purples. They use purples in their on their album covers, and they also do a lot of silhouette artwork where black shadows and things. So to give it kind of a creepy, eerie look. But so and I thought that would be perfect for this. So you got the silhouettes of us, or the, as we're out doing our geocaching. So I get the whole story there of what's going on and how we were introduced to Josh's videos talking about the ape tunnel, and then I am giving thanks to everybody here. And then on the second page, um, pictures of us. There's us with Josh at taco time, and when he had to leave after we first met him, and our adventure out at the ape cache with my friend John. Um, Giving thanks to all my friends, everybody who I pretty much met through geocaching, all the awesome people that I've teamed up with in some way, shape, or form, and went caching with. And then I also gave thanks to the musicians. I listened to a lot of music when I was working on this comic here. So I've got Weird Al Yankovic, Within Temptation, Nightwish, Grey Wind, Leaves Eyes, Enya, June Westfield music, and my daughters, and my favorite band of all, the Birthday Massacre. So I give them a special shout out and thanks on here because, again, I put some of the things in there, the stars and satellites, the rabbit, and then this whole page layout there. And then I give special thanks to my daughter because of our going out looking for pirate treasure on June 25th of 2013. That led up to this, the caching, that our first geocaching adventure led up to this comic. So I think that was cool how it turned out just to be something that my daughter and I would do together, turned into a vlogging project that we do, and then the people that we met, and then creating the world's first geocaching comic. And this is the last page, very end of the book. As I said earlier, when I was working on this comic, my cat Dexter, as you can see here, she would sit next to me here, so you can see she's here when we're working on the space page. So she was still alive at that time, and she passed away on March 23rd. When I think, again, that's like when I was done with those pages, the International Space Station pages or something like that. I forget. I don't know when. I forget. But she passed away, and I was deeply distraught. I was sad, and Joshua gave me these coins. Hey, there's like a trackable thing right there. And when I was working on this, I just said, hey, could I just throw in like a tribute to Dexter? And he said, yes, I can do that there because she was my little companion as I was working on this thing. So there we go. And my desk is empty now without you by my side. And look, yes, there's no cat there. So there we go, kids. Gave you a rundown of the comic and everything. And all the inside jokes and the hidden stuff in there, dad jokes, puns, parodies, hidden things, all that stuff there. So hope that you enjoyed it. And maybe this gives you some new insight to the book, and maybe things, if you've already had the comic and you've read it, you can take a look and be like, oh yeah, that's what that is, and that's what that is. So maybe gives you a good reason to pull the book off the shelf and give it another read. So yeah, and also let me do something here. I'm going to go ahead and put a link there. As you can see, you can go ahead and click on that link, thegeocachingcomic.com, and that'll take you to a place where the neighbors will break out a chainsaw and buzzsaw and start cutting stuff up. No, it'll take you to the Amazon page to where you can order a copy of the geocaching comic book, the greatest treasure, the world's first geocaching comic book. Anyway, that's it right there. I'm done. Going to go ahead and wrap this up and everything here. So do want to thank you all there for watching, and watching me go through the whole thing here, the whole book, and explaining all the fun stuff that's in it there. So yeah. All right. Have a great one. Have a great rest of your day. And go out and do some geocaching and also read The Greatest Treasure. Bye bye.